Money is one of the leading causes of divorce, and it usually starts with a small disagreement about spending and saving money, which eventually leads to a larger disagreement. Financial infidelity is another common reason for relationships to end. And when one partner hides debt, purchases, and financial accounts, or makes secret financial transactions without telling the other partner, those actions lead to anxiety, distrust, and emotional devastation. If you're experiencing any financial infidelity or distrust with your spouse, you should not combine your finances until you seek counsel for your marriage because at this point, it's not a financial problem, but more of a major marital issue. But as a new couple or a couple who hasn't combined finances yet, what if I told you there is a way to combine your finances without losing your independence to spend money? What if I told you there's a way to build your assets and net worth together so that you can achieve financial independence together? And I'm probably going to lose subscribers over the following statement, but so be it, because this is where I stand. It is absolutely crucial to combine your finances with your spouse. You cannot independently achieve fire as a couple if you're not on the same page about financial management. If your mindset is that you're never going to combine your finances with your spouse, then this video is probably not right for you. Your chances of becoming financially independent with your spouse are very slim if you decide to keep your finances separate. So let me show you what's been working for me and my wife. And if you think that everything worked out financially as soon as we got married, then you're wrong. It probably took us over a year to get to where we are now. And one thing we never say is something like, I need permission from my wife or husband to spend money. That is not a healthy relationship at all. If there's something you want to purchase, have a discussion about it. If one of you disagrees, continue the discussion until you find a compromise. And we have one joint checking account that we pay our bills. We don't do what other YouTubers say about the proportionate expenses based on income. No matter how much money my wife and I make together, we pay our bills together. Her income goes into this joint checking account, and my income goes into this joint checking account as well. And our mortgage payments, cell phone bills, utilities, transportation, and groceries all come out of the joint checking account. My wife and I are debt free, but if you're in debt, you would add that category here as well. And I hear a lot about this from people. Combining finances makes people feel like they've lost some autonomy, and a spouse can become more vulnerable to financial abuse and fraud if you combine finances. So before you combine your finances, you need to have an open and honest conversation with your spouse about togetherness and autonomy. And I never ask my wife for permission to spend money. Instead, I ask for a discussion to spend money on something I want. And I'm also not going to go out and spend money without having that discussion first. And I think we need to step away from the word permission to have a healthy financial relationship. You both need to have an agreement on how you want to spend money and how you want to save money. We have an equal sense of shared responsibility. My wife and I have a financial date night once a month to talk about how we're going to spend money and save money in the next month. So at the end of September, we're going to talk about our plan for October. Communication is the key when it comes to finances, and as time goes by, our marriage becomes stronger. So as far as our spending goes, my wife and I have both separate and joint credit cards. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, I need you to cover your ears, okay? And we have a credit card that we use together for groceries, household goods, and many other things like clothes. We have another credit card we use together for travel, entertainment, and restaurants. And I have a credit card that I use for my own personal use, like fast food, entertainment, and anything discretionary for me. My wife has her own credit card that she uses for her own discretionary spending. This is where she and I come to an agreement about how much discretionary we spend separately so that we don't deviate from our savings plan. We sit down once a month to discuss our spending plan for the following month. We also agree to never carry a balance on our credit cards. So we pay off the entire credit card balance from our joint checking account at the end of every month. And from our joint checking account, we invest in our retirement and additional cash savings. And when it comes to retirement accounts, we have to keep them separate, not because we want to, but because it's actually the law. She has her state pension plan, a 457B plan, a Roth IRA, and an HSA. And I have my solo 401k, Roth IRA, and HSA. So between us, we have 6 investable retirement accounts. So what if you have a spouse who doesn't have a job? Your stay-at-home spouse can actually still open what's called a spousal Roth IRA as long as you file your taxes jointly. So our 401k, 457, and HSA are deposited from our paychecks, and then we contribute to our IRAs from our joint checking account. That makes sense so far, right? The taxable brokerage account right here, on the other hand, can be a joint checking account. Only the retirement accounts have to be separate in accordance with the IRS. So we make contributions to our joint taxable brokerage account every week and invest in the index funds together. She knows what's invested, and I know what's invested in this account. So what do you think is better? Investing $500 a month, making 10% return, or investing $1,000 a month, making a 7% return on investment? You can't figure out how much you can invest without a budget. There's no way around it. I personally tested out the budgeting app called YNAB, and it's not just an app that can track your income and expenses, but it can even help you create a plan to pay down your student loans, car loans, personal loans, or credit cards a lot faster. So if you're ready to change your life by getting out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, you can get a free trial without any credit card information by using the link in the description below. And when it comes to saving cash, this is how we allocate our cash savings. We will always have 1 month of expenses in our joint checking account, and we don't go over it and we don't go under it. In our emergency fund, we always keep 5 months of expenses in a high yield savings account. We only use this for anything unexpected and necessary. And we will always follow the rules when it comes to using an emergency fund. Only if we have an unexpected and necessary expense. A blown tire is something unexpected and necessary. A concert ticket is not. We also have our annual expenses fund in a high yield savings account. We only use this account for anything expected and necessary. You see the difference? It's expected, so we can properly plan for it, for this account. And we use the savings account to pay for our vehicle maintenance, DMV registration fees, car insurance, and annual credit card fees. We actually save more money by making annual payments instead of monthly payments. And our discretionary fund is also in a separate high yield savings account to pay for entertainment, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, and other holidays. We use this savings account to pay for a hockey game, concerts, and other entertainment events. And we also have a travel fund in a separate HYSA to purchase plane tickets, hotels, rental cars, and food when we travel. We decide how much we want to contribute to each of these savings accounts every week so that we are never short on cash. But here's what I don't recommend combining your finances. 1, don't combine your finances if you're not married to that person, because you're not legally protected from getting that money back if that person decides to withdraw cash from the joint bank account. If you're just living with that person you're not married to, in the eyes of the law, you're just roommates. My wife and I lived together before we got married, and we didn't combine our finances until we got married. So what protection do you have if you're married? If a spouse leaves and takes a significant amount of marital money with them, it's considered dissipation of assets and comes with legal consequences with penalties. And I have dealt with this personally in the past, and I'm not going to get into the details of it in this video, but that's why it's crucial to discuss finances before you marry that person. And having a prenuptial agreement before marriage is not a bad idea if you have considerable assets you want to protect, and not because you're betting on the marriage to fail, right? And 2, if your spouse has a spending problem and committed any financial infidelity, then you should delay combining your finances until your marital problem is resolved. It may be difficult to recover from it because it's now become a trust issue at this point. And combining finances requires discipline and trust between the partners. And 3, if your spouse refuses to have a conversation with you about finances, this is a major red flag that you're having a relational issue. I would not recommend combining finances until you find out what's truly happening with your spouse's financial situation, or maybe something else. And don't do everything all at once. You should take one step at a time to get from point A to point B and then to point C. My wife and I make things really easy with our finances by automating everything. We automated our savings and investing. We automated income to our joint checking account. We automated our bills and expenses. And when I go out of town on a business trip and there's a stock I want to purchase, my wife knows exactly what to do when I'm absent. Let me ask you this question. Do you want to retire separately or together? Do you want to have a separate retirement goal? If you want to do everything separately, that's not really a marriage. You don't separate your expenses because of your income disparity. You're supposed to pay for your expenses collectively as a household. You're both the co-CEOs of your household. No one should outrank one another because one spouse makes more money. And having a shared account can help both of you achieve financial goals together and faster. You're definitely going to have more financial security if you work together in case of emergencies. Combined finances with your spouse can help foster trust and transparency. And this has been another beast of a video, and I hope you got a lot out of it.